Well, the name kind of just flowed. It was just a vintage electric. And that was before even I thought it was going to be a business. It was like, I want to build a vintage electric bike. And then bringing it around and getting people's interest and thinking I could actually build them for customers, deliver and make them as happy as I was when I first rode mine. Then it was easy, just vintage electric, right?
At first impression, it's like almost owning a witch's broom. It's like flying, it's just free power and it's crazy. Wind in your face, you get up to speed real fast and puts a big smile on your face.
The approach that we've taken with vintage electric is to create an item that gets people out of their cars and allows them to feel the freedom of their first bicycle, leaving your parents' house and riding around the block, but it brings it to an older generation where people can hop on a bike, go down to the coffee shop, meet up with their friends, you can ride 30, 35 miles per charge. It's really a great commuter. You can ride to work. It only takes an hour and a half to recharge when you get there, and then ride right back home.
I think we just need to be a lot more bicycle aware, which is cool. I think we're going to be a big advocate of that in the future and get people on the streets in a safe manner and make it more feasible for people to really enjoy electric bicycles.
We built the prototype in my parents' garage. I was determined to beat my buddy with his 125 gas motor with this electric bike. Shay really helped out. He was helping out with a lot of the welding and manufacturing the forks and the front end stuff. And yeah, it all really happened right in the garage.
Me and Andrew teamed up. So I ended up moving all of my tools, all my motorcycle stuff, all my fabrication stuff into this spot with him, and he was gonna do the design side. And then the bike thing kind of took off. So now it's kind of all melded into one little piece, and we use my shop and the design studio and everything to make a good team where we can all be creative, let ideas flow, and we can build cool stuff.
I started this thing off wanting to design bikes, and that's really what I feel that I'm good at. This team is kind of gathered around me to pick up all the pieces that I leave in the wake behind me all day long, shipping and handling, making sure that new models can be engineered to perfection and actually work. It's one thing to draw it on a piece of paper and say, this is what I want it to look like, but people from our team step up and they make that a reality.
It's cool to see something being up on the wall that I've just welded 2 days later being back in a rolling chassis, with a crazy color combo, or it's some sort of weird anodizing going on. Things are really rolling over here, and it's cool to come in every other day and see how much change has happened. To put your time and energy into something that has a lot of emotion involved in it, and to see it given back with the success of being in Wired magazine and BBC website, it's cool to see all that pan out from this little idea that has risen, and I think that the team we have here, we're all on board to really see our goals and our dreams achieved. The main thing here is we want to bring back that technology and that kind of innovation that's happening in the electric industry and throw it back into the bicycle. So we came up with this heat sink aluminum box that went in there, and everything else from there was kind of fit and finish. We spent a lot of time looming each wire so that it had a nice little finished piece to it. And I think just building longevity into the product and showing that the fine details are the most important part to us, like the leather and all the ties and all the wire routing has all been thought out. I think that's the most important part of doing all this. Went through a couple different designs, and I think we've really fine-tuned the way it is now.
We really create these bikes and build them from the ground up. First step in that process would be doing all the metal work, so manufacturing the frames, manufacturing the forks, milling out all the crowns. As soon as that's done, everything gets shipped off to powder coat, and then once it's powder coated, everything comes back, final assembly, gets put together, tested, gone through a whole series of tests, make sure everyone's perfect for the customer, and then out the door it goes. I think the coolest feeling of doing this whole vintage electric is dropping a bike off, and then when you hand it off, it's your baby, it's been in the shop, you've seen it, oh, this color is so great. Then you give it to the customer, they're happy, and that email you get 1 month or 2 months later of how happy they are and the way it's worked and the way it's changed their lives allowed them to go out and do more things.
What we want to draw on is we want to have a quality product that lasts, that is a strong piece that can fall off the back of your truck and you can get it fixed, You're not just going to break all the plastic apart and be like, that's a piece of junk. We want it to be reliable, we want it to be strong, we want it to be something that you're going to cherish for a long period of time.
The idea of going back to building and creating products that are meant to last, something you can pass down to the next generation. You look at even a toaster that my grandma's had for the last 60 years. It was designed so well, it looks great, and it still works. I think the whole idea of planned obsolescence is total bullshit. It shouldn't happen, it shouldn't be around, and every product we build should be built to last and built to upgrade. And that's what really inspires me, is always the vintage stuff that has such quality built into it. And that's why bringing quality back with a vintage design is important to me. Being 22 and trying to convince people to fund you, to really believe in you, you have to work twice as hard to make people believe that this is a real company, it's the real deal, and we ship these bikes out to everybody.